Yep. All good. Right. Oh my god, right. We can finally begin after all that. I need a drink. Let's move the mic because everything has shifted around on me as I've been faffing with cameras. Anyway, so this is Marvel Champions, the new Marvel Comics based living card game from Fantasy Flight Games. I'm going to play one of the scenarios. I'm playing the second Green Goblin scenario from the recent Green Goblin scenario pack, and it's going to be Green Goblin versus Tony Stark / Iron Man. I'll do a quick run through of how a round works, and I'll explain the rules as we go as well, because I usually forget them. I have to look up in the book. And yeah, that's about it really. Let's get started. So first thing, let's finish my setup. So what I need to do is resolve villain scheme setup. So actually, I'll read the intro first. So with the scenario packs, there's a little narrative thread joining them all together. So this is the second mission. The first mission involved fighting both Norman Osborn and Green Goblin, making them switch between the two, and trying to stop them from taking over a subsidiary of Stark Industries so they can gain access to weapons technology. So I've done that, and I did that with Tony Stark, so I figured I'll stick with Tony Stark for the second one. So here we go, here's the briefing. So, mutagen formula, shield briefing. Hello heroes, reports are... What? Right, I've already fucked this up. Reports are in... That is weird. Okay. Reports are in that Green Goblin is flying through New York City, dropping vials full of green gas onto the streets below. The gas seems to contain some sort of mutagen agent. Civilians who have inhaled the fumes are transforming into hideous goblin-like creatures. Worse yet, these creatures immediately go into a fit of rage, attacking anyone in sight who has not been transformed. There's not much time before Green Goblin and his goblin army overrun the city. Get down there and take back New York before it's too late. So that's the briefing. I'll sort of keep that there. So we have some nice artwork on the go in the corner, and I'll just finish doing setup, shuffle, draw, and then we'll get in and I'll explain how the game works. So this is the scheme deck for the villain, and basically they win by getting through all the cards in this pile. There is 2 cards. Doesn't usually mean that that's going to happen quickly or not. It can take a while, although he can catch me by surprise. I win by defeating the Green Goblin. He has 2 stages. Stage 1, which is relatively normal, and Stage 2, which is has all the abilities and stuff of Stage 1, and a couple of extra bits. It's usually a bit more powerful, does a bit more damage, has a lot more health, that sort of thing. So, I've already created the deck for the villain, which is what this bit of the card here shows. A bit closer. So setup, I need to put a Goblin Thrall minion into play, engage with each player, shuffling counter deck, advance to stage 1B. So I'm just going to find a Goblin Thrall minion in the event deck, and you get a nice little preview of all the cards. I need to look at this properly rather than show you guys so I can find the card. Goblin Glider, Goblin Knight, Goblin Soldier, more Goblin Soldiers, Goblin Thrall, there we go, right. Engaged with each player, so I'll just shift that down slightly, still see it. So he goes there, so he's attacking me directly. I'll explain what he does in a second. It's not going well for me today. Technical difficulties delayed the start of the stream by a good half an hour, and yeah, and stuff's just going wrong in general, but I'll be fine, I'm sure, in the long run anyway. Okay, that's a reasonably good shuffle. So next thing I need to do is flip this over to side 1B. So this is the Green Goblin's first main scheme for the game. So, try and get that so we can all see it, and I'm not blinding myself. So, Green Goblin has released a toxic mutagen gas on New York City. So, when this is completed in player order, each player not engaged with a Goblin minion must discard 3 cards from the encounter deck and put the first Goblin minion they discard this way into play with them. Okay, that's not too bad. So the way these cards work is that every round, this happens. So at the start of every villain turn, 1 threat gets placed on the scheme. The scheme itself starts with 2 threat on per player, and for the villain to advance the scheme to the next stage, he needs to get a total of 7 threat on here per player. So that means that is a reasonable amount actually for a starting card scenario. I've had a few that are quite low, a few that are quite high, so this is sort of in the mid-range. So I just need to keep an eye on that and stop it from ticking over, because when it ticks over things start going wrong and getting harder for me. So first of all, it starts with 2 threat on it automatically. I'll explain how to get rid of that and how to resolve all that in due course. Okay, and then next thing is shuffling my deck. Already gave this a shuffle before, but it's always good to give it one last shuffle before we begin, and then draw up to my hand limit. So now's the good time to explain how hero cards in this game work. So this is my hero, Tony Stark. So hero cards have 2 sides to them. Sorry, the light's in the way there. Hero cards have 2 sides to them in this game. So you have your alter ego, which is this one here, and if you flip it over, you have your hero side. So the way the game works is that you're in alter ego mode for sort of planning, getting equipped up and geared up to directly face the villain, and then when you're in hero mode, that's all about punching the villain in the face, stopping their evil scheme, and generally being a badass. Each side of the card has different abilities, so I'll start with Tony Stark. So his basic ability is to recover. All alter ego sides of hero cards have this. What you do on your turn is that you exhaust him and you gain back 3 health. Nice and easy. Down here at the bottom in the tiny text, you can see my starting hand size and hit points. If the camera will focus, there we go. Hand size tends to be bigger when you're in alter ego mode and smaller when you're in hero mode. It's usually by 1 card, but Iron Man is a bit different. So his hand size when he's Tony Stark is 6, but when he is in Iron Man mode, his hand size is 1 card, except when you use this ability here. So if I can put it properly, you get +1 hand size for each tech upgrade you control to a maximum hand size of 7. So you can actually make Tony Stark's hand size be the smaller one and Iron Man's be the bigger one. But you need to put upgrades on Iron Man. It sort of simulates building the suit of armor that Iron Man uses, which is pretty cool. And then on the Tony Stark side, his ability here is Futurist. So as an action, I can look at the top 3 cards of my deck, add 1 to my hand, and discard the others. Limit once per round. I'm obviously not doing this for the money. Okay, we believe you, Tony. We believe you. So put that down there. Forgot to explain what the other numbers are on the hero side. So we have at the top thwart, attack, and defense. They work in a similar way to recover does. When you're in alter ego mode, you just exhaust the card and resolve it. So thwart removes threat from one of the schemes. There's the main scheme, and then side schemes may come out of the villain deck as we play. Attack, which is the red number, is just basic attacking either a minion that the supervillain has or the supervillain directly, and here's the supervillain's starting health and health wheel. His health is currently 16. Won't look what his health is when he moves on. I like to go into these sorts of games blind. I know some people go through each deck, try and figure out a strategy, and then play. I find that ruins the surprise. But, you know, that's just me. I'm a purist. Then defense is when it's the villain's turn, when either the supervillain or his minions attack me. I'll explain how that works in a minute as well. I can choose before finding out the total value of that attack to defend with Iron Man's defense value. And again, it's just I exhaust him and I block, in this case, 1 damage. That can go up, that can go down, depending on attachments, all that kind of stuff. And I can also use allies to defend in my stead and sort of throw them in front of villains to take the damage for me. Okay, so yeah, I'll explain how the villain attack works and I'll do a rundown of a round and then we should be ready to get started. So when it's the villain's turn, he's either going to attack me or scheme. So when I'm in superhero mode, he will attack me and so will his allies. When I'm in alter ego mode, he will scheme and then so will his allies. And then so the game's a delicate balance between being in your alter ego mode to sort of plan ahead, strategize, get geared up, but bear in mind this will advance a lot quicker, or being in superhero mode to attack the villain directly and be attacked in return, and bear in mind your health tends to be a lot lower than the villains you're facing in this game. So Tony Stark's starting health, for instance, is 9. That can go up, thankfully, with some good upgrades. Yeah, okay, so I'll do a quick rundown of a round, draw my starting hand, see if there's any mulligans, and then we'll get started. I'll explain all these tokens as we go, and cards up here as well. So, player turn works thusly. So, because I'm playing this solo, it's just for me, but it's basically the same for every player. So, when it's my turn, in any order, I may play cards from my hand, trigger and request actions, which is getting help from other players or triggering stuff on my own cards that are on the table or in my hand. Change my form, which is flipping from one side to the other. You start the game in your alter ego mode, and then ending my turn. When I end my turn, I can discard cards I no longer want from my hand, and then draw back up to my current hand size, depending on the side of the card that I'm on. And then I ready each of my exhausted cards on the table, and that's it. I'm actually going to shuffle some stuff around because I've got a bunch of space up here that I am wasting. Hopefully you can see Tony Stark a bit better. Let's do that. Okay. Righty ho. And then once I'm done, it goes to the villain. Like I said, the villain, depending on what side I'm on, will do different things. So no matter what happens though, the main threat advances based on the number here. It's only 1 for this stage of the threat, of the scheme, which is not bad. So more tokens will go on. But then, if I'm in alter ego mode, he will scheme, and then his allies will scheme, stuff gets added on there. If I'm in hero mode, he'll attack me, and so will his allies. The twist to how this works, so as you'll see, it doesn't look too bad here. Green Goblin has a scheme of 1 and an attack of 2 with some extra stuff happening here, which we'll cover when we get to it. But you also turn over the top card of his deck here when he attacks to see what the boost value is, and that can range from something weird and wonderful happening, usually bad for the player, or getting no damage, 1 damage, 2 damage, 3 extra damage. Yeah, so it can swing quite wildly depending on what's happening and what cards come out of here. After that's resolved, I will get given one of these cards, and then I'll flip it over and resolve it. So there's going to be new minions coming out, the villain doing extra things to screw me over, that kind of stuff. I'll explain those as they come out. Okay, so I'm going to draw my starting hand, 6 cards. Okay. And then I can decide to do any mulligans if I so wish. So, let's have a look. So we've got Inspired Upgrade. So might not need First Aid. Emergency can be quite good. I've got an ally there in Mockingbird. I'll explain all these cards properly in the turn itself. Yeah, so I'm actually going to get rid of first aid and emergency, so I just discard those, move the mic, and then draw back up to my hand size. So 2, so repulsive blast, which is not bad, and then haymaker. Okay, so I'm happy. I'm now going to jump into the first turn. So I basically play cards from my hand. So the way playing cards from your hand works, each card is fairly self-explanatory. So the cost is in the top left corner here, and then what the card does is here. If it says hero action, you need to be in your superhero identity mode. If it's alter ego action, you need to be in your civilian identity. And then some are able to happen over both of them. There's different types of cards. There's event cards like this, which are one-off, just do what it says on the card. There's also upgrades, which you attach to what it says. So it's usually yourself, but this one, in this case, is an ally one. Speaking of allies, which are cards you can bring out to help you fight the supervillain and their allies. Like I said, throw them in front of the villain, that sort of stuff. That's another upgrade. And then we have resource cards here, which you use to buy other cards. The way you buy cards is, like I said, cost is in the top left corner here. To buy cards, you discard to play cards from your hand, you discard other cards from your hand. When you discard a card from your hand to generate resources, it generates the resources based on the symbols in the bottom left corner here. There's different types of resources. Some cards get extra abilities or are powered up depending on the resources you use. Otherwise, it's just 1 resource, 2 resources, depending on the cost of the card. So there's different icons there. Green one is wild. There's also some cards that have 2 on them. They're a bit harder to come by because there's only 1 of each type of those in this deck, and you're allowed a maximum of 1 of those cards of each type per deck. Okay, right. Whew, let's jump in. Okay, so let's actually have a look at my starting hand here. So we've got Haymaker, which deals 3 damage to the enemy, which is quite good, but it's quite expensive to pull off at this stage in the game. Repulsor Blast, deal 1 damage to the enemy, discard the top 5 cards of your deck. For each energy resource discard this way, deal 2 additional damage to energy. That's quite a good card, but it is a bit of a gamble. At this stage in the game though, because my deck is pretty full, it's quite likely that I might be able to do quite a bit of damage. Then we've got an upgrade, so attached to an ally, max 1 per ally. Attached ally gets +1 thwart and +1 attack. That's a really good one. Mockingbird. After Mockingbird enters play, stun an enemy. So stun is one of these cards here. Basically, I pick an enemy, pop it on him, and then instead of attacking me, he has to discard that card first. So it's a good delaying tactic. And then we've got an upgrade for Iron Man here. Armor Tech, Powered Gauntlets. Exhaust Powered Gauntlets to deal 1 damage to enemy, 2 damage if you have the aerial trait, which is alright. And then Power of Leadership, max 2 per deck. Double the number of resources this card generates when paying for leadership. Blue card, okay. So first of all, I'm going to use Tony's Futurist ability. So I'm going to look at the top 3 cards of my deck, add 1 to my hand, discard the others. 1, 2, 3. I should have done the Repulsor Blast first. So deal 4 damage. So these are, I'm not going to be able to play this round because I want to start generating upgrades first and foremost for Iron Man. But I will take the Triskelion because that's a good booster for allies. And because this is an Iron Man leadership deck, it's all about getting your allies out to help you. There's different aspects you can use. There's leadership, aggression, support, all that sort of stuff. Right, and the Triskelion allows me to increase the number of allies I can have in play by 1. So I can have 1, 3. So ideally, I might see if I can play these 3 cards. So yeah, that doubles, but that's only for a single leadership card. And then I'd need 3. So I can keep Triskelion for the next round. Do I want to put the power gauntlets on? Oh yeah, so the Goblin Thrall minion, he has the guard ability, which means that while he's out, I can't directly attack Green Goblin. I have to defeat this guy first. He's got 3 health, and ignore the boost at the bottom because that's for when he's flipped over. And then Goblin he's got a force response action, so after Green Goblin attacks and damages you, place 1 threat on the main scheme. Okay, so he's quite good at making that scheme advance quite quickly. Okay, so first things first. Yeah, let's get some support out. So I'm gonna go down to 1. Yeah, I might have to have Billing Heal Tech. Hum. Decisions. That cost me 2. And then, no, right, okay. Sorry, I'm having proper analysis paralysis right now. This is a difficult first hand of cards to have, actually. You know what? Let's discard Inspired to play Repulsor Blast. So I need to flip over first, sorry. Then discard that. So hero action, attack, deal 1 damage to an enemy. We'll do it to the Goblin Thrall, so I'll just put a damage token on him. And then discard the top 5 cards of your deck. For each printed resource, discard this way, deal 2 additional damage to the enemy. So that's 3, 4, 5. 5 cards is a lot to discard. Just gonna do that. But I've definitely got over the damage I needed to defeat the Thrall. Sadly, damage doesn't carry over to other cards, but it means I can attack him directly when I'm ready to now, and I think it's a good idea to get rid of cards like that early on, because he will keep bringing out minions. It seems like the sort of villain deck that will do that. Okay, so I can either bring out Mockingbird and keep. Yeah, so I'll discard these 3 cards to bring out Mockingbird. I'll put her here next to me. And then, like I said before, she's got a responsibility, so after after Mockingbird enters play, still an enemy, so I'll just put that on Green Goblin. So it'll stop him from attacking me directly next turn. So I'm going to end my turn now. I can discard this card from my hand if I want, but I actually want to keep it because it's quite useful for later. Do I want to attack actually? Won't attack with Mockingbird, because when you attack or thwart, which is getting rid of the scheme threat counters, you see these little sort of like punch icons that gives this character damage when they attack or thwart. So she can go out, disappear quite quickly, but I want to keep her out to sort of soak up damage or act at the right time, sort of thing. But I will attack with Iron Man and just deal 1 damage to Green Goblin. And yeah, end my turn. So, like I said, not discarding this. Draw up to my hand size. Is that correct? Yeah. Which is going to be 1. And then ready each of my exhausted cards. So that's my turn done, and I'll flip this over because we're now going to do the villain's turn. So first of all, I place threat on the main scheme. So he's now pretty much halfway there, but because I'm in hero mode, he's going to attack. But because he's stunned, he can't actually attack me. He just unstuns this round, and that ends his sort of attacking step. Then deals me an encounter card. Reveal and resolve it. So pumpkin bombs, Attach the villain, force response. After the villain attacks you, discard the pumpkin bombs and take 2 indirect damage. I can get rid of this card before that happens by spending 2 punch resources and then discarding the card. It's not that bad. I can deal with that. Indirect damage basically means I can spread it across my hero and my allies. So I'll attach that to Green Goblin. Okay, so now it's my turn. So I'm gonna thwart with Iron Man, so I'm gonna exhaust him, remove the 2 threat from the scheme. John, I do anything with Mockingbird. No, I'm gonna keep Mockingbird just as she is for now, but I am gonna swap over to my alter ego mode, because I can still do his alter ego action because it doesn't involve exhausting the card. If it involves exhausting the card, it will say on the card, this ability exhausts this card. So once again, I'm going to use the Futurist ability. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 to your hand, discard the others. 1, 2, 3. Cast. Okay, so we've got lead from the front, which choose the player. Each character that player controls gets +1 thwart and attack until the end of the phase. Not useful at this stage in the game, so that's going. Mark 5 armor, cost 3 upgrade, gets 6 hit points. That's a good card to have at this stage in the game. And then make the call. Pay the printed cost of an ally in the player's discard pile. Put that ally into play under your control. There is an ally in there. It's Maria Hill. She's quite useful, but this upgrade is far more useful at this point in time because it not only gives me more health, it also increases my hand size when I'm in Iron Man mode. So we're going to keep this. And we're also going to keep Triskelion, and I'm going to end my turn there. So not discarding any cards, draw up to my hand size, which is 6 again. Now we're talking, So I've got one of the nice double resource cards here. The Vision, which is a pretty good ally card. I'll explain him as we go. Lead from the front again, and Get Ready, which is ready an ally, so I can do 2 actions with that ally this round. Okay, so that's me done. Ready my exhausted cards, and then we go over to the Green Goblin. So first of all, 1 threat gets placed on the scheme, and then because I'm in alter ego mode, he's gonna scheme himself. So starting value for a scheme is 1. Then flip over top card here, and then we ignore all this crap here, and we just look at this tiny symbol in the corner here. It's 1 star, so that means I get 1 extra boost added to the value of the thing that's being used, which in this case is scheme, so that means 2 more counters go on the Goblin scheme, which means it goes up quite quickly, and he can attack and it'll go up as well, which is not good. But that's all he's doing this round. He's going to give me an encounter card last of all, and it's a Goblin Soldier this time, so this is a minion that comes out into play like the Thrall was before. Let's have a look at him first of all. So he's got a whopping 5 health, Jesus, but only 1 scheme and 1 attack. But when he's defeated, deal 1 damage to the engaged player. So this guy is quite annoying more than anything. Bastard, right. So he'll go there. And then it's my go. Okay, let's plan. So we've already got Mockingbird out. Hopefully we can get Triskelion out this turn, maybe an upgrade, and hopefully an ally. We'll see how we go. But first things first, I'll use Futurist again. So look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and pick 1 to keep. So Iron Man generally, as a character, is all about sort of fishing for the right cards in your deck and using cards after that point to get more cards out of your discard pile. But it does mean you're cycling through your deck quite quickly, and when you cycle through your deck, bad things can happen, which we'll probably see multiple times during this stream. So cards we've got Arc Reactor, which is an upgrade for Iron Man. Exhaust Arc Reactor to ready Iron Man. That means I can do multiple actions with him per turn. That's a pretty good one. Repulsor Ray, which is an event which we played earlier. And then Rocket Boots, it gives me +1 hit point. and I can exhaust the rocket boots to gain, and a science resource to gain aerial as a trait until the end of the phase, which is pretty good. So, to be fair, these are all quite good cards. Don't want Repulsor Blast right now, because I've already used one on my current deck cycle. I've already got a health upgrade, but again, Aerial's quite useful because it does power up a bunch of other cards. So, you know what, I'm going to get rid of the Arc Reactor, and we'll keep the Rocket Boots. Okay. So, I will actually explain Vision. So Vision's quite an interesting card. So he has 1 thwart, 2 attack, 3 health. But as an action, I can spend an energy resource and choose thwart or attack. Until the end of the phase, Vision gets +2 to the chosen power. So Vision, particularly attack, can deal out some major damage. So I can use him to clear this guy off the table quite quickly. And I think I might just do that. Okay, so we've got 2 energy here. Viz is 4. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going to discard that one, lead from the front, and get ready to generate the 4 resources I need to bring out Viz. And then I do want to play that, but it does give me the resource to punch him in the head. I hope to get the Goblin Soldier away before he starts doing some major damage. So yeah, I'm actually going to do that. So I'm going to discard Triskelion to generate the energy resource I need to use Vision's ability to choose thwart or attack. I choose attack. Until the end of the phase, Vision gets +2 to the chosen power, so he's now got 4 attack instead of 2. And then I'm going to use him to attack, so like I said before, I just exhaust him, but because he's got the punch icon there, he's going to take at least 1 damage from doing the attack. But he deals a nice tidy 4 damage to the Goblin Soldier. And then so we've got these things here. I need to start putting upgrades on the Iron Man, so I might sacrifice the hit points for now to get the rocket boots attached, because that gives me 1 hit point anyway, so it's not a total loss getting rid of the Mark 5 armor, but it's quite an expensive upgrade. And I'd rather get allies and other things that can help me out now, and hope to get that later when I actually need it. Okay, so I'll flip over, and okay, I'm gonna attack the Goblin Soldier with Mockingbird, so Mockingbird takes damage. The Goblin Soldier goes to 5, so the Goblin Soldier is defeated, but I take 1 point of damage as he scurries off into the night. So that puts me back to 9 health. And then yeah, that's it. So, oh no, I'm gonna move this back up again. I tend to move cards around as I play, particularly with Iron Man, because you can end up with a lot on the table. I'm gonna thwart with Iron Man, so I'm gonna remove 2 threat from the villain's scheme, and then I'm gonna end my turn. So no cards to discard, so I just draw back up to my hand size, which at the moment is a miserable 2 cards because I'm in Iron Man mode, and the 2 cards about generating resources for other cards. So I've got one that provides me 2 punch resources, and then one that doubles if I'm using it to pay for a leadership card, which are these bright blue background cards. Hopefully we'll get a decent card come out that I can use that on. Ready my exhausted cards. And then it is Green Goblin's turn. So, because, sorry for, I forgot to turn my notifications off. So because I'm in superhero mode, it's going to attack, but first of all, some threat gets placed on the scheme. And then Goblin's going to attack, so he does 2 damage. He's going to do 2 indirect damage as well, because he's going to throw pumpkin bombs at me. And then he's going to boost. So this might be the time actually to throw somebody in front of him. I'm going to keep Viz, because Viz can deal some damage, so I'm going to potentially sacrifice Mockingbird here. So we've got 2 damage coming directly to Mockingbird. And then a further damage there. So Mockingbird takes 3 damage. She gets cleared off the board, sadly. But it stops me taking direct damage, which is the most important thing, because if I lose health, I lose the game. Well, lose all my health, I should say. And then he throws the pumpkin bombs at me, which deals 2 direct damage. Not direct, indirect damage. Viz has already got 1 damage on, he's got 3 health, so I'm just going to take it straight on the chin, which takes him down to 7 health, which is a bit dicey. Okay. My go. So, first of all, I will thwart to keep this down. So, you might be wondering at this point why I'm not constantly attacking Green Goblin. Because 1, Iron Man's attack value is quite low, and the way you work with Iron Man is you get the upgrades and event cards that allow you to do big swing damage in a single turn and try and clear the villain out in one go. And then up to that point, it's about managing the table and making sure the scheme doesn't tick over too far, too many minions don't come out, he doesn't deal too much damage to you, or if he is, you're recovering that damage. Okay, so flip over to my alter ego mode. I'll use Futurist to look at the top 3 cards of my deck and pick one to keep. Rocket Boots again, and Radiant Ally, and Inspired. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to discard those 2 and keep this one. I'm then going to discard the Power of Leadership. It will generate 2 resources because I'm using it to pay for a blue card. This one only cost me 1. Reason I'm keeping this one and playing it straight away is that it adds 1 threat and 1 attack. So it makes Vision even more powerful. So at this point I'm going to either take a couple of big swings with Vision, or wait until I can do big swing with Vision, big swing with Iron Man. It's got some quite powerful allies, so I'm actually going to keep that and keep Vision ready to hit something and hopefully take it out if it comes out, or when I'm ready to do major damage in one go. I will keep that in my hand for next round, and then that's me done. Draw up to my hand size, which is 6. Okay, now we're cooking. Yeah, now we're really cooking. Okay, next round's going to be quite good. Ready exhausted cards. Now it's the villain's go. So, as ever, 1 threat gets placed on the scheme. And then, because I'm in alter ego mode, Gobby himself is going to scheme. So it's default value of 1 plus... Oh, it's a boost. So when it's the star icon like that, we'll resolve the boost text here, which is Goblin Thrall. Put Goblin Thrall into play engaged with you. So sadly, he has a dude who will guard him, so I can't attack Gobby directly, but no additional threat gets placed in the scheme, just a single one, so it could have been a lot worse. And then after that, he's going to make me draw an encounter card, and it's another Goblin Thrall. This is, I'm starting to see a pattern here. It's not a pattern I like. Right, okay. Hopefully, this turn, I can get rid of those guys. Okay, so, let's explain what we've got in our hands to begin with. We've got the Shield Helicarrier. So I can exhaust the Helicarrier to reduce the cost of the next card I play that round by 1. Really useful card, but costs 3 to put out. So you're sort of investing for the future with that one. But I've got cards like Genius in my hand, which gives me 2 science resources. The Mark V helmet, which I exhaust and remove 1 threat from the scheme, which is just good at every time you're in superhero mode, just stopping that from getting too far or just chipping it down. Pepper Pots. Exhaust Pepper Pots generate the resource of the top card in your discard pile, which can be very useful if you time it well with something like that being on top of your discard pile. That's an extra 2 resources. Really useful card. Avengers Mansion. Exhaust Avengers Mansion to draw a card, and then to bring that out. Okay, let's have a think. So we definitely want Pepper out, because Pepper's a useful card to have. And we want the armor upgrade, because that will allow us to have more cards in Iron Man mode and allow me to keep managing threat when also in Iron Man mode. And then, well, I want to get all these cards out, hopefully. Avengers Mansion is probably a no-go at this point because it costs 4. But I can probably get Pepper out and the others by discarding the right cards in the right order. Don't need 3 to pay for Pepper, so yeah. I'm going to discard Avengers Mansion and Genius to generate 3 resources to put Pepper into play. I can then... So I can use Pepper to generate 2 resources here and discard that. So that costs 3, that's the annoying thing. So I can't get both the Helicarrier and the helmet out this turn. Ooh, actually, one thing I didn't do is I didn't do Futurist. So I'll do that now. So look at the top 3 cards. Oh, right, okay. This changes things. So I've got 3 allies coming out, and they're all good for different reasons. So Hawkeye, he doesn't do much damage, he doesn't do much thought, he's only a man, but what he does have is a bow and arrow, and lots of arrows. So he comes into play with 4 arrows. I'll just put 4 generic tokens on him, and then every time a minion enters play, I can discard one of those arrows to deal 2 damage. Very useful, because as we can see, lots of minions are coming out during this game. Nick Fury is an interesting card. He's he can turn the tide of a game if you use it at the right time. If you've played the Lord of the Rings living card game, he's basically Gandalf, which makes sense actually. Nick Fury is sort of the Gandalf of the Marvel Universe. Never thought of that before. It's very interesting. So what he does is after he enters play, I choose one of the following. I can remove 2 threat from the scheme, draw 3 cards, or deal 4 damage to an enemy. But at the end of the round, Nick Fury fucks off. So he's a 1 round only card, so you need to use him at the right time. And then we've got Rhodey, War Machine. So he's got quite a bit of health, there's quite a bit of damage. Not so good on the thwarting villain schemes. He's War Machine, that's not his job in life. But I can exhaust War Machine to deal 2 damage to him, to deal 1 damage to each enemy, which is pretty good at sort of chipping away at everything that's on the table. So I think I'm gonna take, so it's either War Machine to try and get rid of these guys now, or Hawkeye to try and get rid of guys coming out in the future. I can get War Machine out this turn with Pepper's help. So I think that's the smart play. Get the more expensive card out now when things are relatively okay. So, oh no. But because I'm discarding cards, I can't use... bugger. Didn't think this through. Lesson for the future. Use Pepper first before doing Futurist. So in that case, I could still get 4, but I just discard loads of cards. So sadly, no War Machine at this point in time. We'll take Hawkeye instead. So what I'll do is I'm going to play Strength, and if I discard Strength, generate resource, and then do Pepper, does that generate the 4 resources? If so, that changes things. Like I said, I'd play it. I need to clarify the wording on this, bear with me. Actually, that'll make that easier to find in the Learn to Play book. So yeah, it's the sort of game where wording is quite important. So if it's discard a card to generate resources and then discarding multiple cards to generate multiple resource values, let's say I can discard and then reuse that card with Pepper straight away. So play a turn, playing a card. Card cost. Pay the card cost. See resource costs. Resource costs are paid by generating resources. Resource can be generated in two ways. The first is to discard a card from the hand, which generates a number of resources equal to the number of resource icons on the card. Second is to use a card with a resource ability. A loss aspect. Okay, so yeah, I'd say I can. Feel free to clarify in comments below or whatever or how you're watching this. So I might actually, well, I'm going to stick with keeping Hawkeye because that's the decision I've made that I can't go back on at this point, even though he's staring at me in the face there. But what I will do is discard that strength and then use Pepper to use strength again. Yeah, so I've now got 4 to spend on the current purchase, so I'll use it to bring Hawkeye out. It costs 3. And then I'll put 4 generic counters on him, that's what these green ones are for. Okay. And then we've got the Helicarrier and the Mark V helmet. Yeah, I'm going to discard the Helicarrier to attach the helmet to Iron Man. Because that's one I'm going to be exhausting quite a bit. It doesn't give him stats. I'm just going to move it here to the side. So I guess my choice now is, do I flip over and attack with Iron Man directly, or just leave that to my allies? Do I stay as Tony Stark and recover? I suppose Goblin and his guys will scheme, that'll be at least 3. And they'll probably get a bonus. I'm due a big swing on the bonus boosts, so I'll probably say 2 or 3 coming out on that at this point, and that will tick over the scheme. Don't have an energy resource to spend to power up vision. Okay. Yeah, let's flip over to Iron Man. I'm going to exhaust the Mark V helmet to remove a threat from the scheme. I can thwart and go straight for the scheme. And then attack. So Viz is going to do at least 3 damage, so I can get rid of one of the guards with Viz. So yeah, I'm going to thwart with Iron Man to remove this 2 threat from the scheme. And then gonna attack with Viz, so he takes another damage from attacking. So he's got the default 2 plus the 1 from Inspired, which does 3, and I'll do that to him. So he goes. Keep Hawkeye as he is, because we just want to keep him happy, wait for people to come out, and then he'll take them out as they come out. So yeah, that's me done. So, no cards to discard, but I do have 2 upgrades, so my hand limit now goes up to 3. Oh. So, draw 1 card, my deck is now empty. I shuffle to cycle my deck. So, different characters get through the decks at different rates. Some are quite quick, like Iron Man. Black Panther's pretty quick from what I can remember, depending on what cards you pair with him. And others are quite slow. So Iron Man's quite good at sort of like being able to look at the cards and go, if I don't play it now, I will get it back in a few turns' time. I'll do a quick riffle shuffle as well. So 1, 2, 3, and then the key thing here, because I've run through my deck, I get dealt an extra encounter card for at the end of the villain's turn. Let's have a quick look at the cards we've got. We've got Powered Gauntlets, which is another upgrade. Sonic Punch, which is an event which can be quite useful when paired with the right energy card. I can start doing some big swing damage. And then Stark Tower, which is a very useful card, because they exhaust Stark Tower. That player returns the topmost tech upgrade from the discard pile to their hand. Which means, if you use it when you're in Alter Ego mode paired with Futurist, rather than getting one card from that draw, you can get two. Provided one of the cards in there you're getting rid of is a tech upgrade, which is very useful. Okay, so that's my turn done. I ready my cards. Then we go to the villain's turn. So, as ever, the Green Goblin does a bit of scheming. And now, because I'm in hero mode, he's going to attack me. So I'm getting 2 damage. If I defend with Iron Man now, I soak up one of that damage, but it means I can't attack or thwart with Iron Man the next turn. I might try and do some swing damage this turn coming. So, do I take the hit or put someone in the firing line? I will take the hit. So 2 attack, and then draw the top card here to see the boost. So 2 to begin with, plus beautiful 0, and an annoying card goes into the discard pile without being resolved. Mwah. So I take 2 damage. So that puts me on 5. And then Goblin's finished attacking. His allies now attack one after the other. Thankfully, there's only one. It's Goblin. You know what? I'm gonna block him with Hawkeye. So Hawkeye will take 1 damage. And that's that. So, end of the villain's turn, I get given another encounter card, which is the default one you get given every round, and then I now resolve both of these in order. Ooh, forgot to... an exhaust pepper. Business problems. This game does this quite a lot. Just when you start forming a plan, it'll throw something at you that stops that plan dead. In this case, it is Iron Man's obligation card. So each player has to throw the hero's obligation card into the encounter deck at the start of the game. It's basically a card that stops you doing what you want to do. So give to the Tony Stark player. You may flip to alter ego form. So I can flip straight away and then choose either exhaust Tony Stark to remove business problems from the game, or exhaust each upgrade you control, discard this obligation. So I can either stop Tony from doing anything this round. Oh, I forgot to untap that as well. Sorry, an exhaust. An exhaust. Nice. You know what? I'm gonna stick as Iron Man and exhaust my upgrades, because I've only got 2 upgrades, and the ones I'm fine with not being able to use them in the next turn. So exhaust both of those. Doesn't mean I can't do the amount of damage I want to do, but it's better than not being able to do anything at this point. But that means it goes into the discard pile, which means it could come back later. And the next one is Goblin Reinforcements, which is a side scheme. Using the mutating formula and advanced combat training, Green Goblin has created an elite force of Goblin Commandos. Oh dear. When revealed, place 1 additional threat here for each Goblin minion in play. So it's going to come out with 2 anyway, and then there's only 1 minion out in play at the moment, so it's going to have 3 threat in it. Let's move the reference card over here, put that there. So unlike the scheme here, which keeps having stuff added onto it, these just have a starting amount and that's it. Although some cards in here will add to them. Just want to double check that icon. Pretty sure it's additional encounter cards each round. Yes, it is a side scheme with the hazard icon, which is this little card with a plus on it, which means every round Goblin deals out an extra encounter card, which in a single player game means I'm getting 2 each round now while that's out. In a multiplayer game, the way it works is Goblin deals 1 card out each player, and then starting with the first player, and then once he's dealt a card out to everyone, he'll do these in order and the amount. So the first player will, in that case, if this is the only side scheme out with the icon, first player would get 2 encounter cards to deal with, everyone else would get 1. Which can be very annoying. Okay. Whew. That wasn't good. But now it is my turn. There's nothing in my discard pile, so Pepper is currently useless. So, my plan for this turn was try and get another science resource so that I could then use my rocket boots to give myself aerial, to then discard this and deal 8 damage instead of 4 because I'd have the aerial trait. Not going to happen now because my rocket boots are exhausted. Max I can do is 4. And I need to deal with that because that's just going to keep coming to bite me in the ass. Okay. But I do have powered gauntlets. Exhaust powered gauntlets, deal 1 damage to enemy 2 if you have the aerial trait. I think the smart move is to try and get Stark Tower out this round. We'll do that after we've done this. So first things first, I'm going to thwart the Iron Man just to get rid of those 2. Okay. And then I will flip over to Alter Ego mode. I will do Futurist. Look at the top 3 cards off my deck. So we've got Avengers Mansion to draw a card. Emergency, which is quite useful, particularly when the schemes are getting quite big. When the villain schemes, reduce the amount of the threat placed on the scheme by 1. And then Inspired, which again upgrades an ally. I could attach that to Viz, I guess, because it's not a unique card. Unique cards have this star next to their names, which means you can only have 1 attached or in play. Can I double Inspire Vision? I'd say so. Nothing on the card says I can't. So then Vision can do 1 really big hit if I can get an energy resource. Sadly, no tech upgrades, so if I bring Stark Tower into play, can't then use it to fish it out, but I could actually spend a card that is a tech upgrade, use Stark Tower to then get that card back. So I can use this to either power up Viz a bit more or Hawkeye. I think Viz, because he can do the most damage. Right, so keep that, discard these 2. Okay, how we're looking. So yeah, we'll use Pepper to use the energy resource that was on, come on, focus, emergency. So that gives me the energy resource. Oh no, think. I'm getting too ahead of myself. Need to take him out first. Don't waste that on Vision there. Right, let's get stuff out. Okay. Still use Pepper, and then I'll discard Supersonic Punch. No, I'll discard Powered Gauntlets. So I've now got 2 resources to bring out Stark Tower. Then exhaust Stark Tower to get tech upgrade. Topmost one to my hand, so I get the gauntlets back. Which is good. Is it better if I do that? it's harder to read it, I guess, unless you're full screening. So that wasn't too bad. And then discard supersonic punch to attach that to Viz. So Viz is getting more and more deadly each turn. He's going to do one big hit and then he'll be gone, unless I can heal him. And then keep that for next round. Okay, so that's me done. Draw back up to my hand size, which is 6 because I'm in Tony Stark mode. Okay, some good cards coming out here. Go through them next turn. Ready all my cards. Although you have to bear in mind there will be some cards that you can use during the villain's turn. I don't think I have any for Iron Man in this deck apart from Emergency. Yeah, it's all printer cost stuff. Okay. Right. That's me done. It's now the Green Goblin's turn, so some threat goes into the scheme. Goblin schemes, boosts, nothing goes on that, and a reasonably annoying card doesn't happen. So one additional scheme goes on here. The Goblin Thrall also schemes and puts one additional on. Thankfully, minions don't boost because they're minions. And then I get my standard and my bonus. I see you. Treachery. When revealed, Green Goblin attacks you. If you're in alter ego form, do not give the villain a boost card for this activation. Oh, that's good. So he just attacks straight up, I get 2 damage. I'm now down to 3 health, which is not good. And a Goblin Soldier comes out, which we dealt with before. 5, and deals 1 damage to the engaged player when he disappears. I will do Hawkeyes. Discard that to fire an arrow to deal 2 damage to the Goblin Soldier. Whew. Right, and then it's my go. Okay, so let's have a look at hand of cards. So we've got Repulsor Blast. Deal 1 damage to an enemy and discard the top 5 cards from your deck. For each printed resource discard this way, deal 2 damage. So that could be quite useful, except this guy's in there at the moment, so I don't want to discard that because I could be dealing over damage to one of those again. Got Maria Hill, another ally. She has 2 thwart, which is pretty good, but only 2 health to counteract that. 1 normal attack. When she comes into play, I get to draw a card. Power of Leadership counts as 1 resource or 2 if I'm using to pay for a blue card, which I probably will do to get Maria Hill. And then Make the Call. Pay the printed cost of an ally in your discard pile, bring them into play. War Machine again, and the Power Gauntlets. Okay. Do I want to do any shenanigans with Pepper for futurizing? No, because there's a single there. Okay, we'll use Futurist. So, top 3 cards of my deck. We've got Tenacity. Spend a punch resource to ready your hero. Quite useful. Some more Powered Gauntlets. And Make the Call again. So let's have a look what resources this generates. So I can use Pepper to do the extra energy, to do Viz, and start doing some damage. Yeah, I'll take Tenacity, discard the other 2, exhaust Stark Tower to get the powered gauntlets that are on the top. Okay. We'll discard the power of the leadership to generate the 2 resources to bring Maria Hill out into play. I've now reached my cap for allies. You have a max of 3 allies, and as you saw earlier, I do have a card that allows me to add more to that, but max 3 allies. Maria Hill, when she comes into play, I draw a card. Well, each player draws a card, so me. Yes. Genius. 2 resource cost cards, so I can discard this, use Pepper. Which I shall do. So discarding that to generate 2 resources, using Pepper to use it again to generate another 2 resources. Oh no, because then, shit. Getting ahead of myself. Right. Need to get rid of him and then do a big hit with Viz. Then bring War Machine out. What have we got? What have we got? Don't need the aerial trait. So maybe Repulsor Blast. Yeah, okay. So I'm gonna... Yeah, okay. Just thinking things through. So I'm discarding... I haven't used Pepper yet. I'm discarding Make the Call. And some powered gauntlets to generate the 2 resources I need to attach a powered gauntlets to Tony. Anything else in alter ego mode, or am I ready to swap over? I am ready to swap over. Although this is risky. Could thwart down this round to get rid of that and stop that getting too far, and recover with Tony because I'm only on 3 health. Because if I flip to Iron Man mode, possibly clear the board, Goblin will still attack me for 2 damage and more. Unless I throw somebody in front, stuff could come out. Yeah, I'm gonna recover with Tony. That gives me 3 health back, which puts me on 6. I can still swap over if I want to at this point to use my hero actions. Okay, let's think this through. Have a sip of wine. Adjust my hair. War Machine's there. We want to do a big hit with Viz this round on Goblin, so we need to clear the thrall. Fine, I'm going to have to use Repulsor Blast on it. Unless... Oh, okay, got it. Flip over to Iron Man. First of all, exhaust the Mark V helmet to remove 1 threat from the scheme. We'll get rid of it from the Goblin reinforcements to stop additional encounter cards being drawn each round. Then exhaust the powered gauntlets. No, yeah, exhaust powered gauntlets to deal 1 damage or 2 damage if I have aerial. I don't have the resource. Well, I do, but don't want to use it at the moment. So I'm not using aerial boots this round. Rocket boots, aerial boots, you know what I mean. So dealing 1 damage with the powered gauntlets, I'm going to deal it to the Goblin Thrall. Then I'm going to attack the Goblin Thrall with Maria Hill and Hawkeye. So they both take a damage each. Hawkeye's only got 1 health left. Maria Hill's also only got 1 health left. So basically, Hawkeye's not going to do anything apart from hit stuff that comes out now. But they both do 2 damage. They both do 1 damage each to the Thrall, which takes him up to 3, which gets rid of him. Which means I can now do Viz, as I so wish. So yeah. Discarding Tenacity to generate the energy resource I need to trigger Vision's ability. I'm going to choose Attack. So Vision gets +2 to his attack, so his attack is 2, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to smack Goblin in the face for 6. So it's from 15 to 9, which is nice. And then Vision takes damage for doing that attack, sadly. So we say goodbye to Vision and all the attachments on him. He's been very useful. Thank you for your service. But it does mean we can play Genius to generate 2 resources. Exhaust Pepper to generate another 2 resources from Genius again, and bring out War Machine. So remember War Machine's ability, exhaust War Machine and deal 2 damage to him to deal 1 damage to each enemy. Which might sound like a bad trade-off, but it's actually not, because I can still attack with War Machine. So I can do in 1 round 3 damage to 1 enemy and then 1 to other enemies. So he's quite good at getting rid of lots of minions while dealing a reasonable amount of damage to the one in particular. Okay. I'm running out of space. Don't have the resources to pay for Repulsor Blast this round, which is a shame. Maybe next round. Could attack with War Machine now. 2 damage or 1 thwart. Now let's save that, because I might want to throw him. Might actually want to throw him in front of a big hit, because he could potentially soak it up and still be able to attack the next round. Okay, yeah, that's me done. So draw up to my hand limit. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 1 in my hand already. 3, 4. Another Repulsor Blast. Okay. Okay. Potential there to be quite interesting, particularly with that. Okay. Then ready all my exhausted cards. So what's likely to happen quite soon is that the threat's going to tick over. That's fine, because I'm starting to get quite powerful, so I can start doing big swings and hopefully take Goblin out in a couple of really good rounds. That was the cat sneezing. He's just down there. Okay, right. My turn done. Now it's the villain's turn. So place threat on the main scheme. Brings it up to 5 out of 7. But because I'm in Iron Man mode, he's going to attack. So 2 damage. 1 threat's going to go on there though. 2 damage plus... Oh, didn't look at it. Need to decide whether Tony's taking this or someone else. Let's throw War Machine in front of it. So yeah, it's 2 damage plus a 3rd damage. Hope I don't regret that. We'll see. Does that exhaust War Machine? I can't remember. I assume it would. Cards use a basic power. Blah blah blah. Action ability. Villain phase. Sorry, bear with me. Scheming, attack. Give the villain a face down card. Defend the player must either exhaust a hero or exhaust now. So yeah, exhaust War Machine. That's fine. Okay, because it can still do War Machine's action, sacrifice him, deal some damage to everyone. Okay, right. So that's that done. That's gone. So only one encounter card is dealt this round, and it's a Goblin Soldier. Hawkeye's going to fire an arrow at him. Bam, bam. 2 damage there. I need to exhaust War Machine to that shite. Right. That's villain turn done. It is now my go. So, problems at the moment. This is obviously getting dangerously high. More and more minions are coming out. These are minions that are going to do 1 damage to the engaged player once they're defeated. So I'm going to get at least 2 damage from them no matter what. I can do at least 1 damage or 2 if I give myself aerial. Do not have the resources for that, but I do have 2 resources here. So, right. Let's do hero actions first, and I'm going to flip over. So, Maria Hill is going to thwart, because that's what her highest value is. She will take damage. Where did that damage come from? On her. Oh no, that was on Hawkeye. Phew. Because yeah, Hawkeye was on 1. So Maria Hill takes her last point of damage, but she does 2 thwart, so stops that getting too far. I will exhaust the helmet to remove 1 threat from the scheme. Exhaust the gauntlets to deal 1 damage to one of the goblin soldiers. And no point doing a single point of damage yet, because right, repulsor blasts are hero actions. Yep, so I will thwart with Iron Man to get rid of the last threat on the scheme. I am then gonna discard a repulsor blast to play a repulsor blast. Deal 1 damage to an enemy. So I'll deal 1 damage to the Green Goblin. So he goes down to 8, and then discard the top 5 cards of your deck. For each printed energy resource discarded this way, deal 2 additional damage. So this might actually defeat this phase of Green Goblin and put me in a reasonable starting point for stage 2 of this. So we're looking for the little lightning bolt symbol. Nope, by Nick Fury. Nope, by Mockingbird. Ooh. Actually, get the card out so I can... For each printed. Okay, so that's 4 damage. 2 more cards to go. 6 damage. Okay. So we're doing 6 damage total, extra. Doesn't quite take Goblin out. But you know what? I'm happy with that. That's worked out quite well. Okay. Flip over to Tony Stark. We will then use Futurist, so look at the top 3 cards of your deck and keep 1. So we've got the Arc Reactor, which allows me to ready Iron Man, which is quite useful. Rocket Boots again, or lead from the front. Let's take the Arc Reactor, put that into my hand, exhaust Stark Tower to get the Rocket Boots. Wahaha. I love card games that allow you to do stuff like that. It's just little things like that. Small victories, add up over time, make you feel awesome. Right, next. Yeah, let's do that. So let's discard. Let's exhaust Pepper to use the resource cost from lead from the front, and discard Power of Leadership as well to generate a second resource to attach the arc reactor to Tony. So when I'm in Iron Man mode, I can do 2 actions. So potentially next round, I can recover with Tony Stark, change to Iron Man, use the arc reactor to ready Iron Man, then attack or thwart. Very useful. Could attach additional rocket boots to get the extra hit point. Gets rid of the helicarrier though. Hit point, helicarrier. Hit point, helicarrier. Helicarrier will be potential next round. If I do not play it next round, I'm going to use it to get something else instead. So yeah. Anything else I can do on my turn? I can attack with Hawkeye, but then Hawkeye disappears. That's only when I'm in Iron Man mode. No, that's me done. Okay. Let's discard the rocket boots because we can at least potentially get them back if I want them with the Stark Tower card. So that's me done. Draw up to my hand size, which is 6. Okay. That works out quite well. Again, we'll go through those on my next turn. Put them to one side. Ready all my exhausted cards. Like I said with Iron Man, I need to actually rejig what I'm doing here. Like I said, when you're playing as Iron Man, you end up with a load of cards on the table. So let's put Tony there. Shift those across. Allies there. Supports there. Right. Upgrades here. Health there for now. Okay. Oh, hi person in the chat. Thanks for watching. It's no longer me just talking to myself. Okay. Yeah, that's me done. So, villain turn. So, place threat on the scheme. Thankfully, only 1 at the moment. And then, because I'm in Alter Ego mode, Green Goblin is also going to scheme. So, we've got 1 plus... Fuck. 1 plus 3. I told you there's 3s in there. So, that's 4 going on. Which brings it up to 5. Yeah, it's going to tick over now because both the soldiers scheme and they've got a scheme value of 1. And that takes it up to the 7 Goblin needs to advance to the next stage of his grand designs. So, let's check all these off. So, when completed, in player order, each player not engaged with a Goblin minion must discard 3 cards from the encounter deck and put the first Goblin minion they discard this way into play with them. That's fine, because I'm engaged with 2 Goblin minions at the moment. That could have been a lot worse. So that gets discarded. And we move on to the next stage of the plot. So mutating cloud, stage 2A. As the cloud engulfs the city, those unfortunate enough to be caught in the vapours begin to shiver and shift, mutating into hideous goblin creatures. Advance to stage 2B. Whoop. Mutagen Cloud. Oh god, right, so needs to reach 11 to advance. Bear in mind this is the last one, so if this gets to 11, it's game over, I've lost. Comes out with 4 per player to begin with, and this is scary. Let's read the card. Okay. The goblin creatures serve Green Goblin's every command. Stop Green Goblin before his monstrous militia overruns the city. Trying to figure out who's the artist in that card. Doesn't look familiar. It might be one that's been made just for the game. So X equals the number of goblin enemies, including Green Goblin, in play. Oh my god, right. If this stage is completed, players lose the game. So that means the default amount of threat that's placed on here per round is going to be Goblin plus whatever is out here. So at the moment, it'll be 3 going out per round. So I need to get rid of these guys next round. But first of all, let's put the 4 that it comes out with there. Shite. Fun, fun, fun. Right. So that's that done. Encounter card. What else could go wrong at this point? It's a Goblin Thrall, and remember, Goblin Thralls have guard, so when this minion is engaged with you, you cannot attack the villain. I can still attack the other minions, but this means I can't do that last bit of chip damage to move Goblin on to his next stage. God damn it, and now it's going to be 4 threat coming out next turn. So yeah, as you can see, when the scheme advances, stuff goes wrong quite quickly. Right, my turn. Let's have a look at what we've got. So first of all, I'm in alter ego mode, so I'm going to do futurist and all that stuff to try and get some good upgrades. But we do have Haymaker. 2 cost, deal 3 damage to an enemy, so I can use that to get rid of one of these guys. But it costs 2. We have the Mark 5 armor, which is just an upgrade to get 6 health. Repulsor Blast, which is deal 1 damage to an enemy. It's got the top 5 cards, 2 additional damage that way. As we can see, that's been quite useful. Again, could get rid of one of these guys. I'm concentrating these guys this round. We've got our lovely Strength card, plus 2 resources. The Triskelion, which allows me to have 1 additional ally. Not a big concern at the moment. And then Helicarrier from last round to reduce the cost of a card. Okay. Right, so need to get rid of these guys. So he's got 3 health, he's got 2 health, he's got 3 health. I can sacrifice War Machine to use his ability. Deals 2 damage to him, which does kill him, but it deals 1 damage to everyone else. So I'll take him to 3, him to 4. Use that to get rid of a 4. Hopefully get cards I can use as well. Repulsor Blast as a last resort on one of those. Right. Okay, first things first. Let's do Futurist on Tony. So top 3 cards of your deck. Ooh. Okay. And then add 1 to your hand, discard the others. So no upgrades, so we can't do the double dip. But we do have Supersonic Punch. Deal 4 damage to an enemy, 8 instead if you have the aerial trait. Quite useful to do a big hit against Green Goblin, but we've got the Thrall in the way, but I can at least use it to get rid of one of these cards. So that's the likely candidate. First Aid, heal 2 damage for any character. So I could heal 2 damage from War Machine, and then that would allow me to do his action and then attack with him this round, which means I could do 3 damage to one enemy, 1 damage to the other 3. That could be quite good. And then get ready allows me to ready an ally. What's the matter? That's my cat, Thor. Yes, I'm a big Marvel fan, if you haven't guessed. Do you want to go out? 1 second. Okay. Oh shit, what have I done? No. Nothing, I've done nothing. So, it's either going to be Sonic Punch or First Aid. Sonic Punch guarantees me 1 clear out, whereas First Aid guarantees me 1 clear out and 1, if not 2, getting near to clearing out. So, and First Aid's cheaper. So let's go for First Aid. Let's go those 2. Okay. So that's Futurist done. I can use Stark Tower anyway, So I will, because I'm in alter ego mode. So exhaust Stark Tower, choose a player, me. That player returns the topmost tech upgrade from the discard pile to their hand. Let's have a look. It's the rocket boot. Okay. Nice bit of cards to play with. Do we want aerial? Yes, we do, because that allows me to do 2 damage. So first of all, it's hero action. So keep the rocket boots to do that. Heal 2 damage. Right, we're going to do that. Right. Let's oh, we can do that. Okay. I can do the cheeky thing with Pepper. Discard a resource card with 2 on. Use Pepper. Then, oh, that sounds like it's too good to be true, to be honest. Exhaust Pepper pots. Generate the resources of the top card in your discard pile. You know what? It's the sort of game where when you've got a weird rules thing going on, assume the worst, do the worst thing possible. And I'd say what I have been doing, where I've been discarding, using Pepper to use that twice, doesn't count because I'm discarding, then doing something else, then using the combined resource value rather than discarding and using the resource. But I would use that anyway to generate resources. Top resource card in the discard pile. Then generating resources is, yeah, okay. I'd say I can actually do what I've been doing from my understanding of the rules. I will clarify it later. Because every time I think about it, I think I'm doing it wrong, but then I talk through it and I go, no, I'm actually doing it right. So we're going to stick to it being right. Okay? Okay. Right, so I can get 4 resources from that for 1 card. So we can use that to either get the Helicarrier, which I can then exhaust to reduce the cost of the next card I play by 1. Or I can use it to get the Mark 5 armor, which gives me a nice, tidy +6 health points. Playing cards more important than getting health at this point. I'm on 6 health. Goblin, I can keep him at this current stage for now. Might be better to get the Helicarrier out, because then I can use that to say get first aid for free. A bunch of others, but the 6 health would be very nice. Feck. No, Helicarrier is going to be useful going forward. So yeah, discarding strength, generating 2 resources, exhausting Pepper to generate another 2 resources to bring the Helicarrier out. I'm running out of space. Helicarrier can go there. Let's move these tokens. Okay. Exhaust Helicarrier, choose a player, me. Reduce the resource cost of the next card that player plays this phase by 1. I will do that. I'll just use that on first aid. So, action, heal 2 damage from any character. And we'll use that to heal 2 damage from Rhodey. So he goes down to 1 damage there. Well... Next. Turn into Iron Man. Imagine armor enveloping me and looking like a badass. I know it's hard, but just picture it in your mind's eye. Theatre of the mind. So currently in Iron Man mode. Right, let's do... Like I kept this for just this precise moment. I'm discarding the rocket boots to generate the science resource to use the ability on the rocket boots I already have equipped. Exhaust rocket boots, gain the aerial traits until the end of the phase, which means I will now exhaust the Mark 5 helmet to remove a threat from the scheme. Because I have aerial, if there was other schemes, I'd remove threat from those as well. Next, powered gauntlets. Exhaust powered gauntlets deal 1 damage to an enemy. 2 if you have aerial, will do it to this goblin soldier here. Which takes him to his 5. He goes, but when defeated, he deals 1 damage to me. Takes me down to 5 health. Let's put my health over here. And then... okay, next. Two, three, one, go. Right. Let's exhaust war machine. Oh shit. I forgot that exhaust war machine. Bugger. Right, okay, I can still do it. Right. Exhaust war machine. Deal 2 damage to him. That 2 damage I healed is already gone, but it's for a reason. Good reason. Deal 1 damage to each enemy. Bap. 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 1 health left on stage 1 of Green Goblin. Not even on stage 2 yet. Jesus, this is not going well at all. Okay. War machine done. I might have to sacrifice Hawkeye, although Hawkeye's going to be really good at this stage in the game. Okay. Next. Discard Triskelion and the Mark 5 armor. Yep. To play Haymaker. Deal 3 damage to an enemy. Deal it to him. So he goes bye-bye. He doesn't do anything when he's defeated. He's left. Attack with Iron Man. So that deals 1 damage. He's on 4. And remember I have the arc reactor, so exhaust the arc reactor to ready Iron Man. I'll then attack with Iron Man again to get rid of the goblin soldier. Okay, good. Alright, it stops a shitload of threat going on the scheme this round and buys me some time. Sadly, did not get to play the Pulsar Blast again, but it's probably for the best because he's on 1 health and this is save for doing big damage card. That's my turn done. So, oh, notice more people in the chat. Hi guys. Well, more people viewing, not in the chat yet. Whatever. You know what I mean. So, my turn done. Let's put Iron Man over here because I'm going to shuffle my deck again. Going to keep the card I have. No cards left in my deck. So, I'm going to shuffle. I know it can be surprising to some people to see a person playing a geeky board game like this riffle shuffling, because it involves bending the cards. But I prefer it, and I'm not too bothered about ruining the cards. If they start getting to a state where they're worn, then I'll sleeve them and start being very careful with them. But until such a time, I will use them as I wish. Right, shuffled. Extra encounter card for later because I've recycled my deck in Iron Man mode, so I have to deal with the reduced hand size, but I think I might be back up to 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Close enough. 2, 3. Oh, nice. Haymaker. Okay. Alright, okay. So if the minions come out, I could probably get rid of them, which is good. Nothing to do immediately during the villain's turn. I ready all my cards. And now it is Gobby's go. Okay, so X equals the number of goblins. Only 1 goblin. 1. Goblin, because I'm in Iron Man mode, he's going to attack, does 2. Damages you, so it's probably best to throw somebody in front of him to stop him placing an additional threat on there. So this might be the time to sacrifice War Machine or Hawkeye. Hawkeye's guaranteed at least 2 damage on 2 minions as they come out. War Machine is 1, potentially 2 on a single. So let's sacrifice War Machine. So he's going to defend. So he's going to take all the damage for this attack. So 2 to begin with, plus, thank God I did that, a boost and if it'll focus, 2 additional damage. So boost, after this activation ends, shuffle this card into the encounter deck. That looks quite a scary card. Okay, so I'll remember to do that. So that's 4 damage. War Machine just dives in front of it, takes the brunt of it, blows up. Sorry, Rhodey. We'll just do what we did in the comics. We'll bring you back without your consent. As a clone, what was it? It was like a body double clone thing. And then Iron Man did it himself. Iron Man comics are a bit weird at the moment. Dan Slott's writing them. Crazy stuff keeps happening. Still fun though. That's that done. Attacks additional. Oh, was it after the encounter or after the phase? After this activation ends. So yeah, shuffle this. Okay, fine. We'll give it a ruffle shuffle. Boop. And then additional encounter cards and resolve these in order. God damn it. Shadows of the Past. When revealed, reveal your set aside Nemesis minion and put it into play, engaged with you. So each hero has a side deck of cards. They involve a Nemesis. In Iron Man's case, it is Whiplash. And he is fucking terrifying because he does 2 scheme and 3 attack. And he also has Retaliate 1, which means every time I attack him, he deals 1 damage to the character that attacks him. And he's got 4 health. Which is not good. Okay, when revealed, put your Nemesis minion into play, engage with you. Reveal your set aside side scheme for the Nemesis and put it into play. Shuffle the rest of your set aside Nemesis encounter set into the encounter deck. If your Nemesis minion does not enter the game this way, this card gains Surge. Right, okay, so Whiplash might not come out now. Reveal your set aside Nemesis minion and put it into play, engaged with you. So no, he does come out now. When revealed, place an additional threat per player here. And, oh joy. Imminent Overload. Let's read that. Okay. Imminent Overload. Whiplash has seized control of a power plant, threatening to overload the transformers he demands if his demands are not met. When revealed, place an additional threat here per player. And it starts with 3, so it's going to have 4 on it. And annoyingly, this icon here means each round, 1 additional threat is placed on the main scheme while that card's in play. God damn it. Just when I was getting on top of it as well. Right, so 4 goes on that. Whiplash is now engaged with Iron Man. These terrifying cards get shuffled into the encounter deck. I guess the way that's worded implies that some minions won't be out. It'll tell you to put them in the deck. Or I guess if it comes out again and it's already been in play and got rid of. Anyway, it is the worst possible thing to happen at this point in the game. But that's how this game works. Okay, so that's That one done. Next, Goblin Glider. Attachment. Attached to the enemy with the highest printed hit points without another Goblin Glider attached. If you cannot, this card gains Surge. Spend 2 energy resources to discard this card, plus 1 attack. So that goes on Green Goblin by default. Thankfully, because there's not already a glider on him, it doesn't go on Whiplash. If I already had that on, and that was the second one, it would go on Whiplash and make him even more deadly. Starting to wish I didn't sacrifice War Machine, but I forgot I'll do take backsies for this because there was a lot going on. New minions come out. I can use an arrow from Hawkeye to deal 2 damage to Whiplash, which I will do. Okay, that is the villain's turn done. So, my turn, I'm in Iron Man mode. What have we got going on here? So, Whiplash, he's got 2 health. He's not a goblin, so he doesn't count towards the X for schemes. I need to get rid of as much threat as possible this round. Okay. So yeah, let's... So that's going to be 11. I'll be in Alter Ego mode at the end of this turn. So that means Goblin's going to scheme and Whiplash potentially is going to scheme as well. So I might have to... Depends if I get into their ally. Reduce cost by 1. Right, okay, so first of all, I'm going to thwart with Iron Man. I'm going to remove 2 from Inhuman Overload. I'm going to exhaust the arc reactor to ready Iron Man again, and then thwart with him again to get rid of Imminent Overload. Okay. It's a risk, because all the scheme that could potentially happen next round could mean game over, because that will go up quite quickly. I might have to sacrifice Hawkeye to get rid of Whiplash, unless I can give myself Aerial. No. Ooh, yes, good. Right. Pepper Pots. Exhaust Pepper Pots, generate printed resource. Printed resource on War Machine is wild, baby. Yes. So I can be wherever I want. I'm going to make it a science resource to use the rocket boots. I now have Aerial, which means I can exhaust the gauntlets to deal 2 damage instead of 1 to Whiplash. See ya. And then I should have thought this through a bit more before doing it. Exhaust the Mark V helmet to remove a threat from the scheme. Because I have Aerial, I would have taken it from additional schemes, so that second thwart maybe not have been needed on there. Okay, so that's making me feel a bit better about things. Don't necessarily have to sacrifice Hawkeye now either, which is good. Phew. Right. Okay. 1 damage to... That's a hero action. If I'm going to use Repulsor Blast, which I've got in my hand of cards, I need to do it while I'm in Iron Man mode. Goblin's got 1 health left, so I could potentially do a load of damage to him. But it means getting rid of Hawkeye. Alright, yeah, it's a gamble. Let's do it. No other way I can do damage now. Do you have Haymaker? 3 damage though. That might be more useful later. No, let's get rid of Hawkeye. So attacking with Hawkeye, which means because he's got the punch icon under his attack value, he takes the last point of damage he has. Didn't get to fight that last arrow, but thank you, Hawkeye. You've been a great help. He deals the 1 damage we need on Green Goblin, which puts him on stage 2. So let's have a look at Green Goblin stage 2. So his scheme value's gone up to 2 from 1. His attack is still 2, but remember what I said right at the beginning. Usually stage 2 cards have more going on. So when revealed, deal 2 encounter cards to each player. 2. So that means I'm going to have 3, if not more, to deal with in the next round. And then force response, after Goblin attacks and damages you, place 1 threat on the main scheme. So pretty much the same apart from the additional scheme as stage 1 Goblin, but this terrifies me to no end. Right. Okay, so forgot the most important thing. Look at the tiny numbers at the bottom of the Green Goblin card. Hit points for Green Goblin stage 2's 18 per player. So he goes up to 18 health. Right, this better work. You hear me? Let's exhaust the helicarrier to reduce the cost of the next card I play by 1. So Repulsor Blast goes from 1 to 0. So remember, deal 1 damage to an enemy. Wah. Then discard the top 5 cards of your deck. For each printed energy resource discarded this way, deal 2 additional damage to the enemy. Right. Nope. 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 Oh, I'm getting rid of good cards here. Nope. Oh, for fuck's sake. No. Oh, that was a complete waste. Ah. Fuck. Right. God damn it. Right, so I won't do haymaking now because it's not going to be a big hit. It might be more useful to keep that for spending a resource on the card. Let's flip over to Tony Stark. Let's do Futurist. Top 3 cards. Add 1 to my hand. So I can use Tenacity, double ready. That could be quite useful for a future round. And I've got lots of cards for big expensive things. And then at least do a haymaker. Yeah, okay. We will take strength. Discard those 2. Or is it better to take the health? 2 damage. No, because he's not going to attack this one. Okay, so we're going to keep these big guys for later. And then discard... Oh, no, I can't, because Haymaker's a hero action card. Hand limit is 6. I'm going to have to discard some of these cards. Lead from the front, do not need right now. Oh, you know what? Let's do Stark Tower. Topmost resource, topmost upgrade, tech upgrade from my pile, which is trusty rocket boots. And you know what? Yeah, because rocket boots aren't a unique card. I can have multiple rocket boots attached. So let us discard lead from the front to attach the rocket boots to Iron Man, which gives me +1 hit point. Taking a tiny bit of health back, which is good. And then to maximise my next turn, I think I'm gonna have to discard Haymaker. Draw back up to my hand limit. Okay, ready an ally. Inspired. I've got nothing for next round. Right. Okay, ready all my cards. Villain's turn. This is not going to go well, I can tell. So, X being the number of goblins goes on. Cards of Tony Stark, Goblin Schemes. 2 plus 2 and a boost. Oh, he's on 8 out of 11. After this activation ends, shuffle this card into the encounter deck. God damn it. Where are all these big cards coming from? Ends his activation, deals me an encounter card. 3 encounter cards to resolve in 1 turn. Most I've had is 2. Ever playing this game, and I've played it quite a few times. This is not going to go well at all. So, first of all, minion, monster. When revealed, you are stunned. If you're already stunned, take 2 damage. So that means next time I attack with Iron Man, instead of doing any damage, I remove the stun card. Sorry, I should have shown this to the camera. 6 health, 1 scheme, 3 attack. What the hell, game? What the hell? Oh, I forgot to... Oh no, because he didn't attack, that's fine. Next, gang up. I'm in alter ego mode. When in alter ego mode, this card gains surge, which basically means I guess discarded, and a new one comes out instead. Electromagnetic backlash. Each player discards the top 5 cards to the deck. Each printed energy resource a player discards this way, that player takes 1 damage. If this kills me, oh, it's 5, so it can at least take me down to 1 health if I get the energy cards that I was hoping to get when I was going for Green Goblin. Right, so nope. 2, 3. That's 1. Right, I only take 1 damage from that, but once again, a load of useful cards I could have really done with this round disappear. So 1 damage to me. Last one. Death from above. When revealed, alter ego. Green Goblin schemes with X scheme, where X is equal to the number of stages. So 2, this might be the end of the game now. 2 plus 2, 4. 8, 9, 10. Yep, that's it. That's game over, because that's taken him to 12. I failed. I am sorry. Tony Stark just couldn't quite get it together this time. This stage is completed. Players lose the game. Boom. Oh, I made far too many mistakes at the beginning of that game, and far too many sort of in the middle, rushing ahead to do things without thinking and looking at what I had on the floor. On the table, sorry. Yeah, that was a difficult one. Both of the scenarios in the Green Goblin pack are quite hard, actually, in a good way. The first one took me a few attempts to do, because you're having to flip between fighting Norman Osborn and the Green Goblin, and they do different things, and there's some nasty cards in that deck. This one, though, need to have a rethink on my deck and do more of a minion management type thing. So lots of damage when stuff comes out, so Hawkeye for sure. or cards from a different set. Maybe leadership isn't the right thing to do with this one. I'll have to go back, have a think, look through my cards. But yeah, some of these minions, man. Jeez, like this one. Just monster, elite goblin. Frish. That's a crazy card. No matter which way it comes out. There's another one in there as well, because there was a different one that I was dealing with when it came out as the boost. And then just like lots of little chip damage minions as well. Yeah, definitely need a crowd control deck for this encounter. Obviously, if you're playing with multiple players, I could stick with this to power up my stuff and other players as well, because that's the benefit of playing with other people. Stuff I'm doing where it says like choose a player, and I was just choosing myself, I can obviously choose someone else. When it's another player's turn, they can go, oh, can you exhaust Stark Tower now so I can get a card from my deck, and all that sort of stuff. So you're working like a proper team, which is really cool. Yeah, it's always a bit of a downer when you play for as long as I have, which is almost 2 hours, and don't quite get there in the end. I definitely took far too long getting to stage 2. I should get to stage 2 before the second scene comes out. But the problem was when you're playing with Iron Man, you need to get all your upgrades out first. So I was sort of limited by that. I'm trying to deal with the minions. Oh, not good. Anyway, lessons learned. And I'll have a rethink, come back with another deck. I might use my Captain America deck, because that's quite a good one. See what cards I can add actually to that. That might help with minions. I'll have a think, like I said. Come back. No stream next Friday, because I've got a prior engagement, but Friday after that I should be back. Well, like I said, first stream that I did, I'm going to try and do every Friday, at least some sort of stream. So it won't always be Marvel Heroes, it might be Marvel Heroes, other board games, video games and stuff like that. I'm set up to do pretty much anything. So yeah, thanks for watching. That's Marvel Heroes. I did not win. Next time I'm determined to win. Green Goblin's going down. I think after I defeat Green Goblin, I'll switch to another board game, because I have actually just got the DC deck building game Rebirth box, which can be played solo, so I could do a stream in it. And what's interesting about that one is not only can you play it solo, it's sort of changed up how that game works. I'm a big fan of that game. It's not as complicated as this game is, but it's still good fun. So they've changed how that game plays, and also there's a partial legacy element to it where you're adding different packs of cards to the main deck every time you play. So that'll be another good one to sort of do progressively, like the Marvel Scenarios one. So yeah, thanks for watching, and catch you next time. If you're watching the archive of this on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe, click the bell. If you're watching on Twitch, please give us a follow so you get notified next time I play. Like I said, it's every Friday from around 9 PM UK time, depending on how bedtime for the kid goes and if they stay asleep. So yeah, cheers and thanks for watching. Bye. If I can get to stop. There we go, right. Bye for sure this time. Again, thanks for watching.